Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for being here tonight. Center Fellows, alumni, sponsors, friends, what a delight it is to be here with you. And thank you for taking a moment out of your pitches to hear a few words from a former alumnus, someone who came to your international program. As Erica mentioned, my name is Randy Boissonnault. I am indeed a recovering federal minister from Canada. And I can say that happily, an alumnus of this great center from the 92-93 cohort. And in the few short minutes that I have, and thank you, Sydney, for giving me the minutes that we discussed, I've been asked to share a little bit of my personal story. I promise to be mercifully brief. And to share some of the lessons that I learned about my time as a member of parliament and also as a minister, and a glimpse into what life is like on the other side. So to begin then, 35 years ago, I was standing where you are now. Different building, different era, but I can share with you that I'm pretty sure the questions that were in my head at the time are some of the ones in your head right now. What does it all mean that I got to come to the center? How did I ever get to be a center fellow? Where will I go from here? How can I best use all the knowledge that I'm going to get from today and tomorrow and all of these networks to advance my career and serve my country? Will I ever be elected? What are my job prospects? He or she is really cute. It's okay. It's normal. Will I finish my thesis on time? What time is my flight home again? Those thoughts are normal. And so to help connect your era to mine, I want each of you now, you can come closer. We won't bite, we promise. Come on, fill up the room. There we go. Now, because the more energy you give me, the better speech you're going to get, okay? That's how this works. So put in your mind the Netflix series Stranger Things. Put the characters in your mind. See the sets. Are you there? You got it? You see all of it? Okay. The reason I want you to do that is because that's my era. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. That's right, I'm from a small agricultural community in Alberta, north of Montana, 10,000 people growing up, and 30 minutes from the capital city where I now live, called Edmonton. I had a blue and white Adidas bag, acid wash jeans, a cassette tape Walkman. Now put up your hand if you don't know what I just said. Help him, okay? I'll tell you after, okay? And we thought we were really cool when it got upgraded to a CD Walkman. I know, I see it in your eyes, those of you who are of the same vintage. We had a big tube TV, and yes, we played Dungeons and Dragons. There were no games online at the time. Okay, that's not true. I had an Apple IIc and I played Zelda in my monochrome. It's not what we have now. Big poofy hair, don't even start. Mine was split down the middle into my shoulders, and I have proof. I know it's hard to believe. And in the 90s, as student body president of some 30,000 students at the University of Alberta, I got to travel here, Washington, D.C., to your phenomenal capital, to this center, to meet at the time 800 people passionate about politics and policy and government and international relations, and I was spellbound. So much so that when I was at the closing dinner and learned about the Fellows program, I knew right then and there that I would apply. And to my eternal gratitude, the center awarded me the Canadian spot for the following year. The mid-year conference was in Indianapolis, and that conference was followed by Washington, and it was etched in my memory and still is to this day. I would leave that conference, wrap up my studies, and apply for and receive the Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford, where I studied philosophy, politics, and economics at Corpus Christi College. I rode for college. I played ice hockey for the Oxford Blues team after not having played more than 3 rep games in my life. Thank God Yves Bourgeois put me on the team on the 4th line. And by year 2, I got onto the 2nd line and I got a goal against the US Air Force and an assist against Cambridge in the game we won in 1996. Now, this is all wonderful and great, and I would love the applause, but I was deeply in the closet for both of my degrees. And I thought I would never have a job. I would never be loved. I would certainly never see the light of day of politics, and that my time was running out because I was spending 25 to 30% of my brain space pretending to be somebody that I wasn't. After Oxford, before joining the world of work, I took a 3-month tour through Southeast Asia, 13 countries in 3 months with my red backpack. Somebody should have told me I was going to be a liberal later in life. And after years of wait and pain and some hard decisions, and I remember being in a jeepney in the Philippines, and I just wept, and I let the old guy, the liar, go. And I just said, you're going to be who you're going to be, because we're not pretending anymore. That was the day that my new life began. And once I got back and told my family, I was 100% Randy. And some of the friends said, could we have 60% back? No, you get all of me all the time now. And after being a social entrepreneur and a business entrepreneur for nearly 20 years, it was time in my mid-40s to become a political entrepreneur. I had no idea what that meant at the time. What I did know, that in the fall of 2013, when my city elected a young, charismatic, climate-friendly, pro-growth mayor, I got the sense that maybe, just maybe, my community of some 80,000 people, 50,000 voters, might just take a chance on an openly gay, francophone liberal to flip the seat from conservative to red and give Justin Trudeau half a chance at becoming the Prime Minister. On paper, we weren't going to win. The seat was conservative, had to be for 10 years. It was going to take a lot to reach back in people's memories and reactivate that DNA. And through a grueling 11-week federal campaign, we did the unthinkable, and we took our party from 35 seats, third place in the parliament, to first with 184 seats and won a majority government. And I would serve as parliamentary secretary to the Minister of Canadian Heritage in that government. Now, why share all of this with you? Because there's a quote that I want to share with you from my time studying German while I was at Oxford. I went to the Goethe Institute and I learned about Wolfgang von Goethe, the father of the modern German language. But first, this. You may not yet know what you're going to do in life. And I love all of these displays. I love your ideas. You're very good at your pitches. I heard many of them. And it's normal to not know what you're going to do in the world yet. Just keep learning. Develop and hone the skills that have brought you here to this place this evening, because you are among some of the most exceptional people in the world. You are at the top of your own country, and all you have to do is add some colors to your palette, some more experiences, some more languages, so that when that moment does come, you'll know what to do. And you'll be ready to paint a picture that you might not even have in your mind today, but you'll be ready to take that brush out and start going. When the idea does strike you, when it consumes your thinking and nourishes your soul, do not wait. You have to commit. Because once you know the why and what you want to do, and once you've assembled that team, commit. Now here's the Goethe quote. Whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness is genius, power, and magic in it. And in that moment of commitment, the universe, the entire universe, conspires to assist you. Time and time again in my life, this quote, this connection to a universal truth, and the force that's behind it has shaped my life. Whether it was the decision to apply for the Rhodes Scholarship, to run for office again after I lost, or to start and run Literacy Without Borders on a wing and a prayer, or to launch the Global Equality Caucus that now has 770 LGBT legislators around the world, the story of my own Edmonton Centre win proves the point. But let me give you an example and sort of a cosmic truth. As a 30-something, I was invited to attend the 100th anniversary of the Rhodes event. It was in Cape Town, South Africa. My business was struggling. It was going to cost me $3,000, which is $7,500 today. I did not have $7,500, let alone $7,500 to go to this Cape Town thing, but I couldn't get it out of my mind. I would wake up at night and God, I'd go to this thing. So I went for a walk, I put on my thinking cap, and it came to me. Go talk to 4 organizations, get $1,000 each from them, and promise them a report and a talk on the way back. Every single one of the groups I reached out to, gave me $1,000, and I went to Cape Town. Day 2 of that conference, I met the former Premier, Governor of Ontario, the Honourable Bob Rae, who had also served as an MP, and we spent 3 hours one afternoon chatting. And he said after, he says, kid, you got chutzpah. When you run, I'm going to give you $200 to get you started. I'm not going to run. What's he talking about? He saw something in me that I didn't see. And so fast forward 10 years, it's 2013. A year later, I've got the nomination for the Liberal Party. Bob comes to town, we take him out for dinner, we have a beautiful dinner, it's up in a revolving restaurant. We take him to the elevator, and he gets in the elevator and says, "Stop!" And he pushes the doors open. "I made you a promise 10 years ago. I owe you $200. He's like, "I might be late to the party," and he takes out his wallet. And he opens it up and gives me every single bill in it. And said, "Go win this thing, because Alberta is seen in Ottawa as 2 dimensions, and you can add the 3rd dimension." The story's not over yet. I win an election, I lose an election, I win another election in 21. And now the PM's like, "Okay, this guy's got chutzpah." And he puts me through the vetting process to be in cabinet. And who do I have to sit down with for 90 minutes? The Honorable Bob Rae, who in between Cape Town and that meeting was the interim leader of our party and the most trusted advisor that Justin Trudeau and his chief of staff, Katie Telford, had. Bob was tough. He pushed, and he prodded, and he poked, and at the end of it all, he recommended to the PM that I should be in cabinet. And the next day I was at Rideau Cottage, and the Prime Minister asked me to serve as Minister of Tourism. I said, "Boss, that's a great honor." He goes, "Wait, there's more." He said, "I want you to serve as Associate Minister of Finance." Then my jaw dropped. And he said, "You wanted an economic profile? Get busy." And the rest is history. And the reason I want you to know that is because when you do make it into office, or when you decide to be chief of staff, or when you are going to do policy for your state or your city or your government, know what you want to do. Build a team and be intentional about it, because the enemy of anybody's time in office is time itself. It is the only non-renewable resource that we have, that when you're done, you look back and you will wish that you had done things differently, unless you come with a plan and you're ready. And I can share, friends, that I approach this, and I encourage you to approach it this way. Don't wait for anybody to give you a job. Scan the environment. Look for the gaps. Go fill those gaps. Turn yourself into a social entrepreneur, a political entrepreneur, and go fill the gaps. I didn't wait for anybody to tell me what to do. I just started doing stuff. We raised the pride flag on Parliament Hill for the first time in the history of our country. The PM came and helped me do it. We've done that now every year since 2016. I can tell you that the open banking framework we have in our country right now is one that I designed. The anti-money laundering framework we designed it. We changed laws, and we helped get funding to vulnerable communities. And I brought $50 billion, about $35 billion US dollars, to my province over 4 years as a minister, because that's the job. Now, some cautionary notes. It's far too easy in Canada and here to demonize our opponents. All sides do it, to lesser or greater degrees. And the reality is that hyper-partisanship will take a toll on you personally, and it extracts a heavy price from democracy. Maybe one of you wants to study that someday. I lost the 2019 election, in part to my own hyper-partisanship. I protected the castle at all costs, and the cost was an election loss. I learned in 2021 showed people that I learned my lesson and that I had atoned. And as President Lincoln said, "I don't like that man. I must get to know him better." And more recently, from a president who I heard speak in our own chamber, and it's called the House of Commons, on his state visit to Canada, President Obama. All of us in this world for but a brief moment, all of us are in this world for but a brief moment in time. The question is whether we spend that time focused on what pushes us apart, or whether we commit ourselves to an effort, a sustained effort, to find common ground, to focus on the future we seek for our children, and to respect the dignity of all human beings. At some point in your life, it won't be your fault. You won't know when. I'm telling you this because some of you will seek high office. This room just skews that way. Let's be serious. Some of you will help those people, and you will watch what I'm about to tell you unfold, and it will break your heart. But at some point, despite all of your efforts and careful planning and painstaking plotting of your career, it will come to a startling halt. The sandstorm will descend upon you, indiscriminate, indifferent, inexhaustible. Fierce winds will shred the flesh from your body, and the howling wind will prevent you from thinking straight and knowing what is up and what is down. All you can do is wait for the storm to pass. It will leave you a pile of crumpled bones in the middle of the desert with the vultures circling above your head. And at that moment, you're going to have a choice. Do you stay the pile of bones in the desert, or do you drag yourself to an oasis to recover, recuperate, and decide what comes next? I chose the latter. It wasn't easy. I thought long and hard about remaining a pile of bones in that desert. It simply didn't appeal. It didn't align with my values. So I crawled and I stumbled around. I found a few mirages, and I found that oasis. And those of you assembled here tonight are part of that oasis. Glenn asking, Sydney asking, Erica asking this time last year to be here tonight helped me to recover, recuperate, and move on. And in that time, after staring at walls and watching flowers grow in my garden, I have traveled to Mexico City 3 times, to New York, to London, and very recently, in the last 4 weeks, to Paris, Tokyo, Bogota, and I must apologize tonight. I'm on a plane to Brazil, to Porto Alegre for the largest startup finance conference in Southern Hemisphere with 32,000 people, 9,000 companies, and I hope to meet some of them. Am I making millions yet? No. Will I? Let's see. But I'm having the time of my life, and I can tell you there is joy on the other side of politics. And so, to the alumni, thank you for helping to sustain and grow this remarkable center. To the new fellows, congratulations. Learn all you can here. Build deep and lasting friendships. Take out your WhatsApps. Make sure everybody is in your phone. We didn't have that in '93. We had paper and a pen if it worked. It was a bit. It wasn't any fancier than that. Take it for somebody who was sitting here 33 years ago. It was worth every moment. And that experience as a 20-something coming here to DC, to Annapolis, back to DC, to understand some of the scale and scope of these United States of America marked me profoundly. My experience with the Center for the Study of the Presidency in Congress contributed directly to my decision to run for high office in Canada. To flip my seat and to give a hopeful, rejuvenated Liberal Party the chance to form government. I wanted to build bridges and cross the gulfs between the great, vast nature of our country, and I also wanted to build corridors of trust with other countries, including this one, with whom we share the largest peaceful border in the world. And so tonight, in the spirit of the CSPC, of my time in office and my new career now in business, I extend to you a hand of friendship. To each of you, to your constituencies, to your communities, and to your colleagues. And I offer to connect you with the people of your own vintage, not the cast and crew of Stranger Things. Although they're pretty cool too. Because you are still at that hopeful, eager age that can still dream of a better tomorrow for all of us. And I offer these connections of possible friendship to you, for every generation must renew the friendship between our two nations for our mutual benefit, lest we leave those bonds to wither to our mutual detriment. As President LBJ said, yesterday is not ours to recover, but tomorrow is ours to win or lose. And because he literally changed my life, and he was my boss in cabinet, I leave you with this quote from the Right Honorable Justin Trudeau. Every single day, we need to choose hope over fear, diversity over division. So to wrap up, politics is possible and worthwhile. There is no greater calling than having your fellow citizens ask you to represent you in your city, your state capital, or your national government. You can do what you dream, know the what and the why, then commit and build a team. The universe will help you. And when the sandstorm comes, be ready to make an agonizing and critical choice. Your future will depend on it. Decide now, today, what kind of relationship you want to have with Canada tomorrow, and start building it today. And I leave you with a quote that comes from the great poet, French poet Guillaume Apollinaire, who said this at the funeral of his great English friend. Come to the edge we are afraid. Come to the edge. It is too high. Come to the edge. And they came, and he pushed, and they flew. I can't wait to see how high each of you will soar, and how strong the bonds of our two countries will once again become in the decades ahead, thanks to your leadership and this remarkable gathering place known as the Center for the Study of the Presidency and Congress. Thank you very much.